normally started off slightly but very soon I was able to find my way, and my journey here has completely shaped and impacted my life forever. Coming to Humboldt State helped me prospectively gain a better understanding of who I am and why I am who I am. And I think that distinction helped me push through these last 5 years and end with a bang. So despite all of my trials, all of my tribulations, still I rise.
Famous number 2!
Okay, so I'm actually supposed to be up here this time, so I won't have to walk up there. Okay. My name is Malcolm Chinaiwa, and I am here to introduce the featured speaker for this ceremony tonight. Dr. John Johnson serves as the coordinator of the African American Center for Academic Excellence here at Humboldt State University. Prior to joining the staff at HSU, Dr. Johnson served as an assistant professor of psychology and chair of the Social and Behavioral Sciences Department at Edward Waters College, a private historically black college in Jacksonville, Florida. Dr. Johnson's research interests are focused on the experiences of traditionally underrepresented students in higher education, with an emphasis on student education, student leadership, multicultural student services, mentoring outcomes in higher education, and the role of ethnic student organizations in student retention. A native of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Dr. Johnson earned a BA in psychology from Pennsylvania State University with a minor in women's studies, an MA in educational psychology from Ball State University, and a PhD in social psychology from the University of California at Santa Cruz. Dr. Johnson is an accomplished scholar practitioner and has received awards for his teaching, research, and efforts to enhance diversity in higher education. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Johnson.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction, Malcolm. I couldn't have said it better if I'd written it myself. But in all seriousness, good evening. I would like to offer my sincere gratitude and greetings to all the faculty, staff, administrators, students, friends, and family that have assembled here to recognize the graduates of the class of 2016. I truly consider it an honor to have been selected by the graduates to speak at this celebration. This is a special day, and it is about the students. It is about the graduates. So I will not be before you long. As the program indicates, I have about 10 minutes. And speaking of programs, some of y'all got way too many programs with y'all. So spread the love. Anyway, just keep that in mind. So before I begin though, I want to take a moment to acknowledge that our campus and our celebration takes place on Weop land. And it is with great reverence and solemnity that we honor their history and respect this space. Now it's because I use words like reverence and solemnity that the students here like to tease me. I've only been here for a little over a year, and students frequently complain about my use of quote-unquote big words. Some will have the courage to ask me what a particular word means, and others will simply just ignore the word I use. Or they'll do what I encourage them to do, which is look it up, and maybe add it to their vocabulary. But I don't use big words on purpose. I just use whatever word that comes to mind for me, big or small, from the collection of words at my disposal. I think of words as symbols, and symbols can be very powerful. So when I was asked to speak at this ceremony, and I considered the class of 2016, there were a few words that came to mind that I want to share with you and with the graduates. But before we do that, I want to take a couple of minutes to say a few words about the African American Center for Academic Excellence. So as was noted in my introduction, I'm the coordinator of the African American Center for Academic Excellence here at Humboldt State University. Now, this center did not exist at this time last year. The center opened its doors September 1st, 2015. And over the last year, we've created a space on campus where students can gather, connect with each other, access resources, and build community. And on a campus with fewer than five tenure-track Black faculty, we work to bring in scholars of color that would provide students with more access to Black brilliance and intellectualism, more inspirational role models, and culturally affirming performances and speakers that contribute to their holistic development and academic success. We offered workshops on graduate school, screened films that touch on the complex intersections of identity within the Black community, featured scholars that speak on the value of spiritual intelligence, and we coordinated this evening's event.
Yep.
And I know this is shameless promotion, but I need the graduates and guests alike to support the AACAE. We need your help to do this critically important work. We are a new and growing resource on campus, and we need your support to continue to flourish. So stay engaged as alumni. Communicate the center's value to the administration. Make a donation.
That's right. Yeah.
Make a donation. I will say that again. But support the AACAE so we can support the students who are coming behind you.
Yep.
And speaking of donations, I want to mention that the only cost to the graduates for this program was a $25 fee that enabled us to purchase the beautiful kente sashes they are wearing. Woo! And there was no cost at all if a graduate just wanted to rent a sash for this event. But we received a donation from a university administrator to cover the cost for all this year's sashes. So graduates, if you have a loaner sash, or if you just didn't pay for it yet, that's yours to keep. If you pay for your sash, we will happily process a reimbursement for you. But if you can pay it forward, consider donating those funds so we can use your $25 to purchase a sash for a graduate next year. Let's get back to the business at hand. The BlackGrad class of 2016. As I mentioned, there were a few words that came to my mind when I was preparing my comments for this evening. This first one was not so much a word, but a hashtag. So the hashtag Black on Campus emerged this past year on Twitter. And for those of you who may not be familiar with the social media platform Twitter, people use Twitter to post comments to the internet on a variety of subjects, and the comments are categorized or organized by using keywords or labels that are generated by the user and preceded with the pound symbol, which makes it a hashtag. When people use the same label or hashtag, those comments will become part of a string, a discussion, or perhaps even an online community like Twitter. So Black on Campus was a trending topic where students across the country commented on their experience as a Black college student. For many Black students, the campus is not a welcoming place. Black students are frequent targets of racism.
Truth.
Black students are frequent targets of racism, often struggle to find supportive advocates in the administration, are routinely stereotyped by both faculty and peers, and seldom see their own history or culture represented in the classroom. This last year, Black students across the country, from Missouri to Harvard to Humboldt, voiced their frustrations and made it clear that being Black on campus is no easy thing. Which is why Black graduation celebrations like this one are both common across the higher education landscape and necessary. Our graduates endured a very difficult journey and deserve a moment to shine and to lift their voice and speak their truth, because they made it through, and as some of the sashes say, Black grads matter. So another word that came to mind when I thought about the class of 2016 was the word medal. Now I don't mean medal as in an award, although I have no doubt that the graduates are worthy of any number of awards. Some of them received awards. And I also don't mean medal as in natural resources or precious metal. But that's a little bit closer to what I'm actually talking about. I'm talking about metal with an L-E. But, okay, so let me back up. Anyone here follow Game of Thrones? The Game of Thrones people?
No.
So I'm a bit of a fan. And without spoiling anything, there's a storyline in Thrones that deals with a kind of metal, specifically Valyrian steel. Now there are a handful of these special swords in the Game of Thrones kingdom made from Valyrian steel. Now steel is basically a composite metal. And in order to make a sword of steel, you have to forge it by exposing it to extremely high temperatures. And in the case of Valyrian steel, we're talking about dragon fire hot temperatures. Now this extreme heat allows you to shape the steel, but it still requires repeated strikes with a hammer and an anvil, over and over again. Y'all ain't with me. Now Humboldt doesn't get all that hot, even in the summer. But for many of our graduates, the environment on and around the campus was such that they had felt consumed by fire, repeatedly beaten and pounded in an effort to break them down. But rather than give up or accept defeat, our graduates are here today because they exhibit METTLE, M-E-T-T-L-E. That is mental and emotional strength in facing difficulty, adversity, danger, or temptation. Being Black on campus is difficult.
Yes.
And being Black on campus at Humboldt, I'm sure at times seemed impossible. I have no doubt that during your time here, graduates, people tried People questioned you, degraded you, wrote you off, and jumped up and down on your very last and final nerve. But you persevered, but you persevered and got that degree they didn't want you to get. And this brings us to the last word, because if Humboldt taught you anything, it taught you that you are indomitable. You are here today because you are unconquerable, impossible to defeat. You never quit, you never gave up. You got back up every time you fell and never let anyone take your dream from you. And that is a legacy that you inherited. So keep that in mind. Your ancestors were indomitable before you. So as I close, I've been to a number of graduation celebrations like this one. And oftentimes, you won't remember what the speaker says. And that's okay. Maybe, thank you, Jeannie. Maybe you'll remember I said something about Game of Thrones. But I want to leave you all with some quotes that I hope will stick with you after you leave HSU and take the next step in your journey. The first is, learn to love without attaching the strings of expectations. That one is easy to say, hard to do. But if you master it, you'll find yourself happier as a result. Second, now that you have this education, be sure to teach each other or teach others with humility while your own learning continues. The pursuit of knowledge does not end here. And finally, this is not your first or your last significant achievement. So don't be the person with the least amount of faith in your ability. Because you are indomitable. Actually, I got to take this mic because I'm going to introduce the graduates, and I'm going to send y'all to that mic over there. Okay.
We got to send. We have to be served for nuts.
Francisca Ann Crutchfield.
Going in alphabetical order, but I would like to dedicate my rose to my roommate. Although none of my family was able to make it because they're all over the world, she came to support me, and I was able to live with her through this grad level program, and she supported